Dear friends, as you know, whenever someone say us thank you so much, so in response we say you're welcome, which is fine, not bad. But why don't you use some other ways, some other alternatives instead of you're welcome to make your sound more professional? What's up guys, and warm welcome to our channel, our palace, the ulenglish.com, as you can see right behind me, which stand for the University of London English. And I'm your host Abid if you are just meeting. Today in this lesson, I'm going to teach you 10 sophisticated alternatives that you can and should use instead of you're welcome. If you are ready, then let's do it. Alright guys, before we dive into our today's lesson and start bringing up those expressions one by one, it's important to make it clear that the expressions which I'm going to teach you in the next few seconds, there are some expressions that you can and should use with your friends, with your colleagues, and these kind of situation. And there are some formal expression as well that you can and should use in a business situation, like with your teachers, in a meeting, or with anyone else that you look up to. So there are 5 informal and also 5 formal expressions. Now let's begin. So number 1, don't mention it, I'm happy to help you. Don't mention it, I'm happy to help you. You can just say don't mention it, or just I'm happy to help you. It is also fine. Number 2, and now this one is American one. This one is an American expressions. No worries, it was nothing. No worries, it was nothing. And this means it was not a problem for me at all. Number 3, it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. You can just say my pleasure or pleasure. It is also fine. Number 4, and now one of my personal favorite expression that I use all the time instead of you're welcome, and that is it is nothing. Think nothing of it. It is nothing. Think nothing of it. It also means you're welcome. Number 5, and the last informal alternative that you can use instead of you're welcome. It was no bother. It was no bother. And this means that it was not a problem for me at all. Alright guys, now it is a time and turn to bring up a kind of expressions that you can and should use in a business situation, like with your teachers or maybe someone that you look up to. So, number 1, it was my pleasure to help you. It was my pleasure to help you. Or it was not a problem at all. It was not a problem at all. Whenever someone help you, so you can say it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. Or it was not a problem for me at all. Number 2, I was happy to be of assistance. I was happy to be of assistance. This one is also really fantastic. Number 3, the pleasure was all mine. The pleasure was all mine. The 4th one is too simple. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And number 5, it was no trouble at all. It was no trouble at all. When someone say thank you so much, so you can say it was no trouble at all. And now finally guys, here's the end of my lesson, and I really hope, I do believe that you must have enjoyed this lesson. I try my best to make it as short, simple and concise as I can. Now the only thing you have to do is practice with yourself and with your friends on these expressions. And if you want to watch further lessons just like this one, then you can and should subscribe our YouTube channel right now, so that every single day, whenever we upload a latest lesson, so that you will be notified.